Would to God I had died. Would to God I had died. Would to God I had died for thee, O Absalom, my son, my son.
So you're listening to the arts program. That was Singers of the Black Book 2019, and they're going to be performing at Trades Hall this Friday evening. They'll be doing some more tunes from the CD and some of their older works as well.
And a couple of Christmas numbers.
Oh, that's right, a couple of Christmas numbers. So Trades Hall this Friday night, $10, I think Peter said. So get along to that. That'll be lovely. And look, thank you to all of our guests this evening for coming in and joining in the fun. It's always great to have our local creatives come in and discuss what they're doing, and we really appreciate their time, don't we, Lynden? Because it's a big ask.
And
you know,
they came on an adventure tonight, Pod, because none of them had ever been to, the new studio.
That's all a bit new for us, so we appreciate, because we grill them, don't we? We ask lots and lots of questions and really get the most out of our guests, so we appreciate all of that. But now we're going to do our regular What's On segment, aren't we?
We are.
Can I just mention, first of all, the Reverb exhibition at the Post Office Gallery? So this is, it's called Reverb Return to the 90s. So it's work from anyone that was studying at the Arts Academy, or whatever the Arts Academy was called during the 90s. Any of those students, but they will be exhibiting at the Post Office Gallery during this exhibition. So that opens this Friday evening, the 13th, 6:34, 7 p.m. So get along to that. You'll probably see a lot of people you know.
You could go to that and then rock on to the Singers of the...
Yeah, I think that's what Peter was suggesting. So... what else was I going to say about that? Oh, yes. So what I was trying to say about the Arts Academy is the title of the art school has changed over the years. It's had different names. So I think, well, at the moment it's called the Arts Academy, but it would have been called something different back in the 90s. So
it was it's the
School of Arts or something like that.
Yeah, higher ed section of...
So last year it was the 80s, the year before it was the 70s, next year it'll be the 2000s.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how that works, which is great. So that's a good... They're great openings. It's like a big reunion, people all coming back together. So that's at the Post Office Gallery this Friday evening.
And some people who no longer live in Ballarat, of course, are exhibiting. So, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
Well, I want to just remind people something I mentioned last week about Steve Cordelia's small, I think it's called a short opera, which is happening at the just fantastically gorgeous Scrub Hill Church at Newlyn. You go out, you head for Daylesford, and then on your left, when you're near Newlyn, there's this gorgeous little church. So Steve Cordelia is putting on an opera called Amal and the Night Visitors, and it's on the 15th of December at 2 o'clock. So get along to that. I think that would be just a fantastic event.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Take your camera, I reckon. Will I continue, Pod? Or?
I reckon you can continue for the time being, yes.
Okay, so there's a new idea happening in Ballarat. It's called Mass Hysteria, and by a group called Mass Motion. And they're works by Travis Price and Milan Milojevic, brought to life around Ballarat. So it's a little bit like a few months ago, and you had a work in this pod, where big works are put up in a public space, and you go around with your phone and you get onto an app.
Virtual reality.
And there's an app called iJack. And if you get onto iJack, these pictures of Travis Price and Milan Milojevic will move. And I know that there's about 10 of them maybe. There's one in the Hydrant Cafe, there's some in Mare Street, there's some in Armstrong Street. but also in other places. So once you get the hang of it, I'm sure you can sort of follow a particular route. And these start, well, they've started now from the 7th of December to the 31st. So they won't be there forever, folks. So if you want a bit of fun, get out and see Mass Hysteria.
That sounds like great fun.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
What else have I got? Oh, Motor City Sounds, which is a fairly big band, really.
They're great.
Is playing at the Mechanics Institute, which is also a venue that has a lot of music and promotes themselves for that. They're playing on Saturday this week, Saturday the 14th at 8 o'clock. There's a book launch pod
Oh.
of a book called Mining Mud
and
Metals. Yes, it's an overview of tunnellers. So if you think about it, Ballarat's got so many tunnels and shafts under us.
Well, did you see that a mine shaft opened up up in Fussell Street just yesterday, I think?
That's right.
And they've had to cut a great... Well, they'll have to try and fill it somehow.
They've had to close the road.
Yeah.
Yes.
Incredible.
So maybe these tunnellers, there might be some bit of a story about what's under Fussell Street. So anyway, it's a book launch this book, Mining Mud and Metals, about the tunnellers. That's on the 14th, which is Saturday, between 2 and 4 at a place that does other tunnelling. It's at the Ballarat New Cemetery in the Sovereign Chapel. So that's a bit of an unusual venue. So it's in Dufton Street. You turn up and go into the cemetery. There's a car park and there's a chapel in there. So that's on Saturday between 2 and 4 for that book launch about tunnelling.
Well, while you're looking at your list, I thought I would remind people about the 12 Days of Christmas windows that have been created by 6 Ballarat artists. That was launched very recently. And there is a map. If you go to Ballarat Council Facebook page, and there's a map that you can open up and see where they all are. But they're basically very much in the CBD. There's
there's about 4 in the Mall.
In the Mall, Central Square, Lydiard Street, up near the gold shop, the mining exchange, and along Sturt Street, down along near the BMI. The Ballarat Mechanics Institute, somewhere along there. But there is a map. So there are 12 different windows created by 6 local artists. And
Melinda Muscat,
Deborah Klein, Margie Balazic, Samantha Thompson from Lethbridge.
Zlatko Blacic.
Yep. And Emily Vandermolen.
Yep.
I think I've pronounced that right. I'm sorry, Emily, if I got that. Yep. And there should be one more.
I think there's one more.
So Deborah Klein, Melinda Muscat, Emily Vandermolen, Margie Balazic, Samantha Thompson, and one more. Zlatko.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So there we are.
It.
Yeah, so check those out. They're gorgeous.
They're gorgeous. And as I've been looking at them, I've realised what a big space it is. In each case, they're really quite big spaces to fill with an artwork, a three-dimensional.
They are. That is a huge
story.
Project to undertake, especially if you're working individually. That's a lot of...
And many of them, it's sort of highlight a bit of a different art form in a way. Like many of them that I've seen is pretty much cut paper in different ways. And it's quite interesting to look at that.
Yeah. And you'll also notice too, I'm not sure if that gingerbread house, I don't think the gingerbread house is part of that, but it is a City of Ballarat thing. But as you're wandering down Sturt Street, part of the Albert Street has been closed off, and there's a gingerbread house down there, which is pretty cute too.
I wish you could eat it.
Oh.
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Next year, do one that we can eat.
Yeah, do one that we can eat. Really.
Yeah.
Come on, bakers.
Yeah. And then we'll have to crochet one as well, of course.
Yeah. So speaking of Christmas pod, the Ballarat Carols, I think this is their sort of main carol thing. Carols by
Candlelight, yes.
Going to be at the City Oval, which is that one up in Pleasant Street, isn't it?
Yes.
On Sunday the 22nd at 4 o'clock. Which I think is funny because it's candlelight at 4 o'clock.
It's a bit too early for candles, isn't it?
So let's hope it's a really cloudy day. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
And I've just got one more, Pod.
Okay.
On Thursday, as in tomorrow night, at the Munster Arms, there's a trad music session at 8 o'clock. And I think they're doing this something like on every second Thursday.
So can you bring along your instrument and join in? Is it that kind of a thing?
Well, the photo on Facebook looked a little bit like maybe you could. I'm not quite sure. Maybe you should go to one first, check it out, and then next visit, bring your instrument.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Just a couple more little things before we let George into the studio. He's being very patient there waiting for us. But the Ballarat Repair Cafe is on again this Saturday, the 14th of December from 1 till 4 p.m. That happens at the Ballarat Tech School in Albert Street. It's a free event where you can bring along something that needs to be repaired, and the people there, the volunteers there, will share a skill with you on how to fix that item. If they can fix it, some items can be fixed, some can't, but as much as possible, the volunteers will show you how they fix something. So it's not just about fixing, it's also about skill sharing. I think it's a wonderful idea. I think this is about the 5th Repair Cafe. It's been pretty successful so far, so you'll be paired with a volunteer that can fix your thing, so maybe an electronic thing or a bit of furniture or maybe something that needs mending or darning or something like that, but you will be taught how to do it yourself, which is the most important part of that, I think.
When's that again, Paul?
That's this Saturday, the 14th of December, from 1 till 4 p.m.
Right.
As usual, loads and loads happening around the city, all during the week, really. And my final announcement, Ballarat Life Drawing at the main bar tomorrow night from 7 till 9 p.m. It's the final drawing event of the year. It's laid back, it's untutored, all abilities and levels are welcome. BYO materials, you can grab a glass of wine or a coffee, something to eat while you're drawing there. You can join the Facebook group, Ballarat Life Drawing, and that happens at the main bar in Main Road. So that's been going gangbusters this year too.
So they have a model.
They have a model.
Yep.
There's always a model, which is fantastic. Yeah. So that's all of the arts program for this week.
Fantastic. Congratulations, Pod.
I'm glad to be back, and I was a bit nervous about coming into the new studio, but I think I've broken through the barrier now. And I hope it all sounded okay out there, folks. I'm sure it did.
I'm sure it did.
Did in here.
Yeah.
So
Good show.
thank you for listening. We'll be back again next week with more arty news and interviews. And keep an eye out for our Facebook page update tonight, and make sure you like what we put up there. Make sure you share the page and you encourage your friends to listen and all that kind of thing. So,
now, have you got some music to put on?
well, let me have a look. I feel like I need to play something from my old playlist here. So I'm going to try, because I want to take my CD with me, I'm going to try to play, I reckon I'm going to play some Tommy Emmanuel. So we'll be back next week, folks. Thanks for listening.